This is Andi Purewal, Boxing Social, in association with Betfred. We're in Cardiff and I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, a rare weekend just with no boxing. What did you get up to?
What, last weekend?
This one just gone.
Oh, yeah. I went to Thorpe Park. Yeah, took the kids to Thorpe Park, Andy. Absolutely mental idea, but they enjoyed it. So, good to be back with boxing this Saturday.
Did you get followed around by any fans there?
Just slightly. Yeah, just slightly. It was a little bit uncomfortable, but it is what it is. They found it amusing, the kids.
Obviously, we're here back in Cardiff, another show. First time back in Cardiff yourself for a while now. Joe Cordina, the man with the task of becoming the first Welsh champion since Leonard Ellerbe. Are you confident he will overcome Kenichi Ogawa?
I mean, I think it's a 50-50 fight. Like, there's so many unanswered questions. I believe Joe Cordina is an unbelievable talent. I watched this kid at the Tri-Nations probably 10 years ago at York Hall, and I was like, this kid will be a world champion. But he's never boxed at this level before. When I say that, it doesn't mean he's not good enough to box at this level. He's just never boxed at this level before. So he needs to produce a performance against a really good world champion in Ogawa, who's very strong, who punches very hard. And I do see it as a 50-50 fight. But Joe is an exceptional talent, and I love the way he's talking. I love the fact that he's putting pressure on himself, saying it's now or never. I love the fact that he's talking about mixing it up and trying to knock him out. But as well, at the same time, it's a very, very dangerous fight. And by the way, so it should be for the world title. And there's a lot of times in boxing that people think that, you know, fighters get easy touches, and, you know, people think that belts, you know, that belt's not a real belt, this isn't a real belt. At the end of the day, this is a genuine fight where Joe can become world champion, get the credibility, get the respect, and change his life and put himself in contention for massive fights, you know, in a really good division.
How important is it, Eddie, that we don't just see Joe boxing his normal way and he is a bit more maybe assertive or aggressive in this fight because of the skill set? And you said he is dangerous, but obviously Kenichi Ogawa is going to be relentless. He's going to be coming forwards, and you'd imagine at some point Joe needs to kind of earn his respect.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bad tactic to box off the back foot for 12 rounds, because you're going to get walked down, and that's what happened in the Fuzili fight. If you watch that fight back, Fuzili's very awkward, very skillful, same as Joe. I think Joe's going to ping Ogawa for 2, 3, 4 rounds. Then he's just going to walk him down, he's going to rough him up. And you're right, Joe will have to, and he said it, you know, that at times he's going to have to stick it on him. You don't want to be trading up time and time again with Ogawa, because you're giving him an opportunity. You've got to use your skills. But that's another reason why I feel like it's such a great fight. And, you know, I'm excited for the fight, genuinely as a fight fan, because we took Joe Cordina from the Olympics. Any fighter that we take from the debut to the World Championships is a special moment. And obviously Tony Sims, those guys, they've worked very hard. And, you know, and thank you to DAZN, because they're putting up the money to allow us to bring world champions to Joe Cordina's backyard. And it's very expensive. But what are we in the game for? If we can't deliver these kind of opportunities for Joe, we're all wasting our time. So we're delighted to get it. Now the pressure's on him.
I mean, you won't want to look beyond Saturday night, but obviously Shakur Stevenson holds 2 of those belts, and I've asked Joe about that potential fight. Is it something you could make?
Shakur Stevenson is an outstanding fighter. Outstanding. He may be a pound for pound number one. I mean, he's very good. But, you know, you've got to be looking towards those fights, especially if you can win a world championship. You've got Zelfa Barrett, who's got a very tough fight against Kourbanov on Saturday night for the European title. If he wins, that's a great fight. You've got Rakimov, who's the mandatory as well. So there's lots to do. But of course, you gear up towards a point where you may be the belt holder that fights Shakur Stevenson for the undisputed. And that's when you look at Caleb Plant. That's what happened with him. Very similar situation. Canelo wins all the belts. Caleb Plant makes 10 times his highest purse in a fight against Canelo Alvarez. And that's what Joe has got to look to do, to win a world title, defend it, unify, and try and become undisputed in a very tough task against Shakur Stevenson.
Eddie, moving on and onto a few other topics. Gervonta Davis fought this weekend. Firstly, did you watch his knockout winner against Rolly Romero?
I saw the knockout, yeah. They said it was quite nip and tuck, but I think he was just taking his time. Great knockout, great performance. He's a star, you know, and he moves on. He moves on.
Does he move on to talk with you about a potential team up?
No, we had a legal letter from Leonard Ellerbe and Mayweather Promotions saying, we've heard you talking and he's under contract to us. So obviously, Gervonta was the one who came out publicly and said, this is my last fight with Mayweather Promotions. How long that contract runs, I don't know. But if he was a free agent, which is a question I always get asked, we would be very interested to make him an offer. If he's under contract, of course we won't be going anywhere near him, but we'll see.
The biggest name, obviously, you could offer him, which is a golden boy fighter, but working with DAZN, is Ryan Garcia. But from a matchroom point of view, what could you actually offer him that you think would entice him over?
Ryan Garcia. I mean, we would look to make that fight. I think Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia is a massive fight. And, of course, Ryan Garcia is signed with Golden Boy, or exclusive to DAZN. And Gervonta Davis has the opportunity to walk in and negotiate a deal for a huge amount of money. So I don't know what he's going to do. And again, like if he's under contract to Mayweather Promotions, it is what it is. So I just think that's a huge fight to be made, and plenty of other big fights as well. And he's a star. He can fight anyone. But you want to see him making double-digit millions. That's what Gervonta Davis should be doing.
What do you make of Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna?
Oh, it's a decent fight. It's a big step up from Targo. Fortuna is a world-class fighter, but we tried to get the Maxi Hughes fight. Was disappointed to lose out on that. They made us an offer, but it wasn't acceptable to Maxi and a team. So we look at other opportunities for him. But I think Fortuna is a good. It's more than a stay busy fight. But Targo was a fight to get back in the ring. This is a nice step up, and then hopefully that Tank Davis fight can get made later in the year.
Devin Haney, George Kambosos also during the night, and this Saturday I'm sure you'll be. I don't actually know the timings for it, but I don't know how it's working out. But yeah, just your thoughts on that fight, what goes down.
I think that on a level playing field, I see Devin Haney as a favourite in that fight. I think he's up against it. He hasn't got all his team there. He got 40,000 Aussies or whatever is going to be in the arena. George is a great fighter, great self-promoter as well, and I see it more as a 50-50 fight, but I would give Devin the edge in that fight. I'm behind him 100%. Hope he can do it. And yeah, as I said, 5 p.m, 4 a.m, whatever it is, I'll be tuned in and hopefully see Devin get the victory.
What does Devin have to do to be successful in that fight?
He has to win well. George throws a lot of punches. He's very aggressive, and if you're doing those things in your backyard with that amount of people, it's hard to win rounds. I think there'll be a lot of close rounds in the fight, and if there's close rounds, generally they'll go with the home fighter with the support. But Devin, I think, has got to be aggressive in the fight, and he's got to try and dominate him.
What did you make of George's rap comments towards Devin over the Teofimo Lopez DMs?
I don't know. I mean, George is a very aggressive, emotional guy, and you don't know whether it was mind games or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think Teofimo and Devin have ever been particularly close. So, and I think probably Devin felt that he would have a better chance of making the Kambosos fight over the Teofimo fight, and he was right.
Away from that, a man who you've been asked about plenty of times today, and I'm going to ask as well, Leonard Ellerbe, had quite a few words to say about yourself. You're the biggest clown in boxing. You've effed off over $1 billion from obviously the original DAZN deal. Just your thoughts on everything he's had to say about you.
Well, firstly, both of those are completely ridiculous and untrue. Clearly, I'm definitely not the biggest clown in boxing. I'm definitely the biggest player in boxing. And obviously, that deal with DAZN, which was 3 years ago, has been nowhere near that type of money spent over what was an 8-year deal. But he probably doesn't understand these kind of things. I think it's good, Andy. Like, at the end of the day, that was Showtime boxing. That was a full 7 minutes talking about me. So whilst I can add so much to Leonard, and give him so much, he can help me in America as well by doing things like that. So, if you look at it, and actually this isn't sarcastic, a lot of things I say is sarcastic, but if you think about it, I don't know, 100 times bigger than Leonard, right? But he does have that platform in America as well, a good platform in Showtime, to give me exposure, which he's doing. And I can give him exposure over here. But I don't think he sees it like that. Like, I see that interview, I go, wow, 7 minutes talking about me. And Showtime don't really like me either, but that was great, it was everywhere. So I don't really look at the content of what was said, because there's a lot of bluster. And, he talks about, Canelo Alvarez he's been ruined on DAZN in that last fight. Canelo Alvarez has boxed on DAZN for the last 3 years. He had one fight off. If you look at Forbes' list, if you look at the earnings list, this guy is one of the biggest earning sports stars in the world. People talk about pay-per-view numbers. Canelo against Bivol did over 600,000 buys. Yet Canelo Plant did 700,000 buys, which was a much bigger fight for the undisputed. Yet the Canelo Bivol numbers, people just want to make up. Speak to DAZN. They'll tell you. It was a huge success. And now we go into the Triple G fight. So ask Canelo Alvarez if he thinks DAZN hasn't been very positive for him. So let's see the pay-per-view numbers for Tank. What he does when he fought Isaac Cruz. 70,000? 80,000? Even if it was 100,000. What, you think that's good? 100,000 people tuning in to watch one of the biggest stars in the sport? So I hear a lot of rubbish, but I don't really take it personally, because at the end of the day, all talk is good talk. And if he wants to carry on threatening me, telling me he wants to stomp me out, we'll see.
He said the beef between the pair of you started a few years back when you touched on something very personal to him, and then he called you. Did that happen? Do you know what he's referring to?
He's never called me. Once, someone passed me a phone and said, I've got Leonard Ellerbe on the phone here. I was in New York at a Triple G workout, and I said, hello, Leonard. And he said, hey, man, you talk getting personal about me, blah, 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 blah. I know people in New York. You better watch yourself. And I went, do me a favour. And we had a little shout at each other, and that was it. It's the only time I've ever spoke to him in my life. Oh, Badu Jack fight, probably just sort of with James DeGale. I've no idea what he's talking about. He can either phone me or he can come see me, and he can tell me what the thing that I said that was so personal was. He just gets a little bit confused with this soap opera boxing and personal stuff. It's a bit of a different mentality. But he would say, well, it's not soap opera, man. It is for me, because I have no feelings towards this man. I'm just using him for a bit of fun, a bit of publicity in America. And he should use me as well, because I can help him. I can help him get bigger.
You said you don't agree with him calling you the biggest clown in the sport. Who is the biggest clown in the sport?
Oh, there's mate. This game.
Except for me, who is the biggest clown?
No, but there's no barriers to enter in boxing, right? So anyone, you tomorrow could become a manager or a promoter. Anyone can. So in a lot of instances, people who don't have the ability or the mind or the skills to perform in business at a top level can stroll into the sport. So, you look at, I don't know what Leonard did before he started promoting Tank. I know he worked for Floyd, but what was his previous business? I don't know. Did he run a business? Did he work for a major corporation? Well, I don't know. But I've never once said, by the way, that Leonard's not doing a good job on those guys. I think they've done a really good job with Tank. But I look at that. He starts the interview, he says, I don't want to talk about Eddie Hearn, but 7 minutes, the whole thing was about me. So I don't mind it, I really don't. And, like I said, he's welcome to reach out to me any time.
Eddie, you said to me a couple of interviews back that you don't pander to anyone. Does the kind of strained relationships you have make you...
What, with Mayweather Promotions?
No, just with any other promoter. Obviously, it's no secret.
At the end of the day, Andy, you have to be real, right? You have to be yourself. If people don't like you, they don't like you. People want to threaten you, then you see what happens, right? At the end of the day, I'm always going to be me, right? When I say I don't pander to anyone, I'm not going to be a fake and start calling up Leonard, going, oh, Leonard, have I upset you, mate? I don't know. I don't really know the guy. I don't particularly like... Yeah, he just said he wants to stamp on my head. So, what, and at the end of the day, I'm going to be me. Andy, when I did the same thing in the UK market, which was a much easier task because it's my country, we're recognised here, we have a reputation here. When I got the exclusive deal with Sky, all the other promoters in the business, which at the time was Frank Warren, Ricky Hatton, Frank Maloney and Barry McGuigan, all got together and they wanted to do a press conference to say they were uniting to ultimately take me on. They all put their hands in the middle like this, like a pact, right? They all hated each other, but it was all about stopping me. A month later, I don't think they even talked to each other again, right? This is the same thing in America. People are desperate for me not to get in, desperate. But that shows you why. Why are they desperate for me not to succeed in America? Because they know how good they are and they know the potential that we have. So, but I'm not going to, all this stuff. Wouldn't it be better if you were just a bit fake? Wouldn't it be better if I was fake? No. I'm always going to be real. I'm always going to tell you how it is from my heart and my mind. And if it pisses people off, so be it. But I'll always be remembered. Always be remembered.
I think that's hard to disagree with, Eddie, whether that be a good or bad thing.
No, but what, you know, who's going to be remembered? You've got to make your mark on the world. You can't fuck around and just let people take advantage of you and take the piss out of you, because that happens to 99% of the human population. You either want a dream and you try and achieve that dream. What US promoter, shout out to October Red, what US promoter has ever come to the UK and succeeded? Tell me tell me a UK promoter that has ever gone to the US and done what I've done. So I've got a dream, I've got a plan, I've got a strategy. Fuck everyone else. I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and I'm going to win.
Okay, then, so what do you make of his comments about you not quite understanding the American model and the American side of the business?
Understand the American model. This guy has built, I don't know if he's even built tank, but he has promoted some tank fights that have done well. He used to work for Floyd Mayweather, right? Do I understand the American market? Yes. Has it taken me time to understand that? Yes. But when you say, what has he ever done in the UK? I broke the attendance record for Canelo Alvarez against Billy Joe Saunders at Dallas Cowboys. You know, I've just staged another Canelo Alvarez fight.
See, when you mention stuff like that, I see the kind of the comments coming back that the biggest gate receipts rather are on the Showtime shows in comparison to what you've generated. So i.e. like Canelo Plant and the figure that they...
Canelo Plant was a big fight in Vegas. It was a bigger gate than Dallas Cowboys. Let's see how big the gate is for Canelo against Triple G. Right?
What would you predict for that?
25 million. I mean, but it's like there's no credit.
He credited you for the work you've done in female boxing.
Thank you very much. I mean, that was another thing that I've done. Just helped sell out Madison Square Garden for the biggest female fight of all time. Is that irrelevant? Is all the Canelo fights relevant? We've got Card of the Year coming up June 25th. You know, we're in a great position in America. Have we got a long way to go? Yeah, long way to go. Especially, Andy, when everybody wants us to fail. You know?
Away from Leonard, Eddie, update on Conor Benn. Obviously, he was floating about today.
Yes, we're in negotiations for Conor Benn's next fight. It'll be in September. I'm not going to say anything else because I'm getting better at not saying too much, but working on a very big fight for Conor Benn for September.
Have you seen Rick Marigian's tweet?
No.
So I think it was a few days back, he tweeted, for the rumours that Jose Ramirez turned down Conor Benn, it's complete BS. We simply got an offer that just didn't work or fit, and Ramirez makes and has made far more going back 5 years. Yeah. I have had so many calls on this. We are here to make deals, and if one is close, it gets done. Yeah,
we offered him, I think we offered him 800 grand, then we offered him $1 million, and they said we want like 2 or 3 times more. No, is the answer. Jose Ramirez, I did Jose Ramirez against Maurice Hooker. He's right, I paid a lot of money for that fight. That was when we were trying to make our way. We don't have to do that anymore. We have to pay the value of the fighter. Ramirez is a great fighter. If he doesn't want 7 figures for that fight, I understand, and we move on. He's not one of the guys that we're in final negotiations for September.
May Baumgardner being made again? I saw Michaela tweeting that it was down to her team pushing that fight.
I think that's right, yeah, I think it's true. I mean, we were looking to fight Choi, and Top Rank made us an offer. We ended up getting double what the first offer was. So I couldn't believe it. I mean, I believe that Baumgardner's making more than Maya for that fight, and I respect Maya for pushing that fight because she genuinely wants it. And respect for Alicia, because we were going to fight Choi and then build up to that fight. They made us an offer. We made Maya a huge offer to do that show on our card, and then they come back with a massive offer, and we went, yes. That's how business works. So, you know, when you talk about, do you think that no one really wants to do a deal with you? When the deal's right, Andy, it happens. But people will always use excuses of, don't like him. At the end of the day, great offer for Baumgardner. I don't know the Maya offer. I'm sure she's making great money. Great fight. Let's get it made.
Something which I've seen criticism of is your new link up with Stagefront and the ticketing front. Have you seen kind of where people have picked up on, or do you want me to delve in?
We got criticism for years for our other ticketing partner, so I'm sure there'll be some more critics for this one. You can read them out, Andy. I mean, it's boring stuff, but go on.
I mean, you might say it's boring, but obviously a lot of the fans will disagree with that. So
Well,
on the website of Stagefront, it says an independently owned and operated ticket reseller and specialises in obtaining premium and sold out tickets to events nationwide. Ticket prices are dependent upon the current market price, which is usually above face value printed tickets. And obviously,
not for face value tickets. The same for all these ticket agencies at the moment have a resale element to their stuff. Of course, our fundamental strategy on all of these is face value tickets. We don't resell tickets, and we never have resold tickets.
So the point being, so you'd obviously do the ticket deal with them, so they buy them off you for face value and then they resell them at a high price.
The tickets will be available at face value. That's exactly how we always work.
All right, away from that one, Eddie. Final one, Anthony Joshua update. Obviously, seen you saying that it might be pushed back for a few weeks. Can you just kind of, fill me in on that?
Yeah, I think we're looking, obviously it's 7 weeks this weekend to July 23rd. That date is not dead, but there's a lot to do. You know, obviously for a fight of this magnitude, we have to do a multi-city media tour, and we're getting to the stage now where the fact is, by pushing it back 2 or 3 weeks doesn't really matter. It just gives everybody a better chance to prepare for one of the biggest fights in boxing. So I'm almost certain you'll get an official announcement next week on the date. I know I've said that last week, but it's a huge deal. And when you're talking about deals like these site fees have never been delivered in boxing. So, and it's very difficult to do it in the right way and execute it in the right way. We've done it, we're ready, we're deciding on the date with our partners, and we'll be back to you next week.
Is this the biggest fight you feel you've worked on other than Fury-AJ if it had come off, or would you say something else?
That never happened, did it? So
I say if it had come off.
That's a big fight. I mean, that's a huge fight. But this is right up there. I mean, you know, AJ against Andy Ruiz was a huge fight at the time. Triple G against Canelo Alvarez, September 17th, is a massive fight. I mean, Taylor Serrano is a massive fight. But Usyk against AJ too is another. I mean, they're just, you know, they're huge fights, financial fights, legacy fights, everything. And just want to get it announced now because I get the questions every day. So just want to get it out there in the public domain.
So you say that AJ wants to fight twice this year. So if he is successful against Alexander, who does he step in with in December?
Fury. It's the only fight. You know, I mean, I believe the winner of this fight will fight Tyson Fury, and I believe AJ will win this fight by knockout.
AJ Robert Garcia link up, your thoughts?
Great link up. You know, I mean, I travelled around with AJ to various trainers at the end of last year. You know, people talk about Robert Garcia's just flown in. He's been here for a long time, you know, working with AJ, and you know, he's very happy with Angel. I'm very happy to bring in that experience of Robert Garcia. There's great momentum, there's great positivity, and that's what we need, and that's why I truly believe we're going to win this fight.
Final thing, Eddie, what did you make of the video circulating of Anthony Joshua having a few words with a student up in Loughborough?
I thought it was very nice of him to take his shoes off before he entered the house. You know, I know that there was a lot of personal insults shouted at him, and I guess it's not Twitter, is it? So sooner or later, I mean, there was nothing physical. He didn't go anywhere near these people. He just told him what they thought, and I think their bum well and truly fell out, which mine would have as well. But
have you ever had a run-in like that with AJ?
No, a couple like with Derek and stuff like that. My bum has really gone. So, but at the end of the day, it's not that people shouldn't be allowed to say what they want on social media either. But if you say it to someone in public, you know, it's only so much people can take.
That's it, Eddie, and I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Cheers.